Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Volume 4 of our story game tier list series. We've done 3 other ones. This is the 4th one. This volume has been a fucking roller coaster, let me tell you. There have been bangers, and there have been some not as much. We're here to rank those among all the other story games that we have played to completion. The first game we played of Volume 4 was The Walking Dead Telltale Season 2.
Might hear something they don't like.
That's what he gets for being a dick, so he gets shot in the dick. Then he's gonna be walker food.
We are going to start with the score. In the finale of that series, I gave The Walking Dead Telltale Season 2 an 8 out of 10. I think that is a perfect score for this game. It's an excellent sequel to the first season, and I love the focus on Clementine's growth. That is the real reason why I love the game so much, is because we get to see Clementine truly grow and take on challenges that no real little girl should be dealing with. But she handles it like a fucking champ. She handles situations that grown-ass people are struggling to.
We gotta convince him. You and me, so we gotta be ready.
Why is it my job? Why is it my job? Y'all are the adults. What are we doing?
My main critiques is that I felt the bonds between characters felt a little forced. I'm struggling to get attached to these characters and get attached to their lives, but the only people that I really truly were attached to were Clementine, of course, Kenny, Luke, and maybe some other ones I'm forgetting. Not to say that the game didn't have good characters. It did. Those are the 3 ones that come off the top of my dome. And Carver was an excellent antagonist, but he had to die to push the narrative further. I learned that a lot of the choices in season 2 don't actually matter. It's kind of a set narrative and a set plot line, and that's fine. I'm not mad at that. However, there are certain choices that no matter what you do or how you go about it, it's always going to end up the exact same way. That can be fine in some cases, but you're hopeless. You can't really do anything, because no matter how well you think you play a situation, someone's gonna die. And I think it hurt the game only a little bit. Not as much as I've seen. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna say that. No. I actually really enjoyed this season. And I'm going to place The Walking Dead Telltale Season 2 at the very top of A tier. And I think that's fair. I think that is beyond fair, actually. Moving forward, next game, Little Nightmares 2.
I quit.
I had to think about this one for a while. In the finale of the series, I gave Little Nightmares 2 a 9 out of 10. And I said it had the possibility of becoming a 10 out of 10 after I thought about it, after I looked over, after I searched my heart. And it is. It's a 10. It's a 10. I mean, it does everything I want in a video game. Little Nightmares in general, I think, does the best job of doing the unspoken story.
That's awesome. So I think this is a prequel. Oh, then are we cooked?
Little Nightmares 2 in general is just a excellent successor and predecessor all at the same time to the first Little Nightmares. Excellent job of giving us context of what happened, why Six is alone in the first game, and how she gets there. I was in love through the entire playthrough. Mono, the Thin Man, both my favorite characters and favorite monster of this series so far. Little Nightmares 3 is supposed to be released this year. I'm looking out for it. Best believe when it comes out, I will be on it. But that being said, I think it gets the 10. It just deserves it. It's just so many beautiful metaphors, beautiful symbolism, the different paths both of these characters are on, and how Six ends up alone is so heartbreaking. If you know, you know. The Thin Man has a justifiable crash out. The tier that Little Nightmares 2 is going in is golden. First golden of the video, and I'm putting it right before Stray. Right there. It's very hard to compare these 2 types of games because they're completely different genres, but I just don't think it's a better video game than Detroit. It's one of my favorite video games of all time. Moving forward, Portal. Portal is a controversial one. I really enjoyed playing Portal. Even when I was at my most frustrated, I wanted to complete them. I actually felt challenged and pushed. However, the narrative of Portal, I think, is a little lackluster. It leaves a little bit to be desired. As I was saying with Little Nightmares 2, the unspoken narrative, what I mean by that is games like Little Nightmares that don't tell you what's going on. You're just playing and you're kind of figuring it out as you go. Same thing with Portal. They really don't tell you a whole lot besides GLaDOS narrating, and she does an excellent job narrating, giving you little bits of information. That and the secret rooms that we find along the way, I think they give you a good amount of nuggets of information of what's going on. However, if the puzzles were a bit more geared to a narrative, I think we'd have a better conversation about the story. That being said, it's a good time for what it's worth, and it was amazing for the time that it came out in. I had a hot take in the finale of that game, and I said that I feel like Backrooms may have gotten like inspiration from Portal. Is that a wild take? My humble opinion, of course. However, we're talking about the narrative. The score I gave it was a 7 out of 10. I'm gonna bump it down 1. I'm gonna give it a 6, just because I don't think that there was a lot of clarity in the narrative. The most clarity we got was toward the end. And I did love the fact that it got more and more kind of twisted the more you move throughout the space, but I do think it wasn't the best. So a 6 out of 10. Right now, it is leading the charge of C tier as of this moment. Along the way, we played Lost Records, Bloom and Rage.
That's her nigga sense is trying to kick in and tell everybody that this is a fucked up situation and we should be getting the fuck away from this shit. She said, this seems kind of dangerous. There was like a little ping in her nigga sense radar.
Now this is a completely new game. They made Life is Strange, the first one. Life is Strange is in Golden. Lost Records, Bloom and Rage is not in Golden. In the finale, I gave it a 6. It's gonna stay a 6. I in no way think that Lost Records, Bloom and Rage is a shitty game. That is what Foil is for. However, there are a lot of things happening with Lost Records, Bloom and Rage that kept it way back. The pacing being the biggest fucking problem. The pacing in Lost Records, Bloom and Rage is absolute
fucking dog.
I said that word for word, bar for bar at the end of the finale. It should have just taken the formula from Life is Strange and done episodic little nuggets. I think it's perfectly geared for that, and you've condensed the game immensely. We found ourselves doing things that didn't really matter, yet they were there to drive the plot across, and that kind of took you out of it, and it only ate up more time. There's a moment where we need to break into a house to rescue someone, and one of the characters goes to the main character Swan and says,
Hey Swan, film this shit.
why the fuck would we do that? If we are trespassing, breaking and entering, kidnapping someone, why the fuck would I record that? And I understand the recording aspect of the game is how we move the plot along through damn near every part of the story. I get that. But I think there comes a time where you need to sacrifice gameplay and mechanics for the sake of grounding a story in reality. Going even further, I think the writing felt forced. For those of you that are unaware of the video game, 4 old friends get back together to discuss a secret package that has been delivered to one of the girls. They are deathly afraid to open it because it's directed to the name of their old band that only a few people ever knew. The person that did send the package had no reason to make the package look as creepy and as unhinged as it was. I think that pulled the entire wind out of the sails of the story. In fact, damn it. You know, remember how I said it's still a 6? Fuck no. It's a 5. I'm sorry. No, it's a 5. I don't think it's a bad game. It has so much potential. That being said, it's time to place this in a tier, and wow. Originally, I planned to put Lost Records before Portal. Yeah, it's now here. It's not down in Foil, but it's... But I got to thinking, every other narrative above it makes more sense, and it feels more complete. Our final game on the list is South of Motherfucking Midnight. Oh man.
South of Midnight was so much fucking fun.
The story, the world, the characters, the music, everything. My one gripe with this game is that it was super repetitive, but I don't give a I don't care. At the end of the series, I gave South of Midnight an immediate 10 out of 10. You think I was gonna change my mind? Have you played this game? Have you seen me play this game? This game is a damn near perfect game in my eyes. And I've only said that about one other video game. That is Detroit Become Human. The perspectives of this game, of each character, are so natural, unique, and impactful that you have no other choice but to reflect, learn, and grow while playing it. I said this in the finale. The characters are the heart of the story. If the characters are the only driving point of a story, the story can sometimes lack. And I don't think that's the case here. The thing that drives the plot is that Hazel wants to get her mother back. But along the way, she learns so much, she grows so much, and she helps so many people, not only with wounds on the inside, but helps them move forward, shape a future where they can be better people. Hazel motherfucking Flood might be one of my favorite video game protagonists of all time. I know I'm blazing this video game immensely. It deserves it. It comforts, makes you laugh, makes you angry, makes you rethink choices that you've made previously. South of Midnight is going at the very tippity top of golden. It does everything that I love about video games almost perfectly, if not perfectly. South of Midnight might be my favorite story game of all time. Who knows, maybe there's going to be somebody else that'll come along and take the crown from it. We got some cleaning up to do. I have one thing that I need to switch around. Infamous Second Son, one of my favorite video games of all time. I don't think that the narrative is that good. The fun factor, oh my god, the game's so much fucking fun. There's so much you can do in it. You feel free, you feel powerful. It might still be one of my favorite video games of all time. It's up there, in my opinion, with South of Midnight and Detroit. It's just, this is a story game tier list. So I'm going to move it right in front of the first Little Nightmares and right behind Bendy and the Ink Machine. At the end of Stray, I think I was really quick to give it a 10 out of 10 just because of how fun the game is. I love that game still, and I don't think that it also deserves to be in golden for the narrative alone. I don't think that the narrative hit as hard as I once thought. I do think it's really good. I just think there are better narratives on the list that are placed lower. So I'm going to move it and I'm going to rescore it. I'm giving Stray a 7 out of 10, and I'm going to move it to the bottom of B tier. I know it's a big jump. I still love Stray, don't get me wrong. I just think that there are better narratives above it. This is the final list until volume 5 of the tier list comes out, and I can't wait to play more story games. Oh my god, this tier list is going to get out of hand. Subscribe, follow me on all my socials, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, at JollyPotOGold. You feel me? What's good? Don't forget to have a good day, night, evening, whatever you're having, and I'll see you in the next one. We out.